My beloved soul, listen carefully. Last night while you were sleeping, something shifted in the spirit realm. A distance that once felt impossible quietly collapsed. A delay you thought was permanent began to dissolve. What if I told you that the person you have been praying for is no longer far away? That heaven has already begun aligning footsteps, conversations, and circumstances without your knowledge? What if the silence you mistook for abandonment was actually divine strategy? My beloved soul, this is not coincidence. This is orchestration. God has quietly been moving your soulmate closer. Not with noise, not with spectacle, but with precision so delicate that only faith can perceive it. There is a reason you feel different lately. A subtle anticipation. A strange peace mixed with curiosity. You may not see physical evidence yet, but spiritually, the ground is shifting. God does not move loudly when He is protecting something precious. He moves quietly when the blessing is too sacred to be exposed prematurely. The delay was not denial. The waiting was not punishment. It was preparation on both sides. While you were healing, your soulmate was healing. While you were learning boundaries, they were learning clarity. While you were questioning your worth, heaven was teaching them your value. This is why it has felt slow. God was not just moving one heart. He was aligning two destinies at once. Alignment takes time because it is not about proximity alone. It is about readiness. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment. What you are hearing right now is not random encouragement. It is confirmation. You have survived emotional confusion, false starts, and connections that almost looked right, but felt incomplete. Those were not mistakes. They were lessons shaping your discernment. If the wrong person had stayed, the right one would not have room to arrive. God sometimes removes what feels close to make space for what is covenant. You may wonder why there has been silence between you and this destined person. Perhaps you have never even met them, or perhaps you crossed paths, but timing was off. Understand this, divine timing is not about coincidence. It is about coordination. There are conversations happening in places you cannot see, decisions being made, doors quietly closing in their life, just as doors closed in yours. God is rearranging circumstances so that when you meet again, or when you finally meet, it will not be chaotic, it will be clear. The enemy thrives on impatience. He whispers, "It's not happening." But heaven whispers, "It's already in motion." The reason the movement has been quiet is because loud blessings attract unnecessary interference. God is shielding this connection until it is strong enough to withstand exposure. Some things grow best underground before they break the surface. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you. Because what I am about to reveal is deeper than romance. This is about transformation. Your soulmate is not just being moved geographically or socially closer. They are being spiritually tuned to recognize you. Recognition is sacred. When two aligned souls meet, there is no forcing, no chasing, no confusion. There is peace. Have you noticed how your desires have matured? You no longer crave drama. You no longer romanticize inconsistency. That shift within you is evidence that God is refining your standards to match the level of love He is preparing. If you had met them in your previous state, you might have sabotaged it out of fear. So God worked on you quietly while working on them quietly. There is also something else happening. Divine intersections are being scheduled, an unexpected invitation, a change in routine, a new opportunity, a relocation, a simple conversation that leads to another. None of it will look supernatural on the surface. That is how God often works. The miracle hides inside normal moments. My beloved soul, you have misinterpreted the quiet season as stagnation. In truth, it has been synchronization. Heaven has been adjusting timelines so that your paths cross at the precise second when both hearts can say yes without hesitation. This is not about fantasy, it is about fulfillment. You may feel waves of doubt even now. That is natural. Faith does not eliminate questions. It anchors you despite them. Ask yourself why this message resonates so deeply. Why does something inside you feel seen? That is not manipulation. That is recognition at a spiritual level. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal, because the quiet movement you cannot see is already producing signs. Subtle shifts in your environment. Certain names coming up repeatedly. Songs, memories, dreams that feel strangely specific. God often speaks through patterns before he speaks through manifestation. This season is teaching you trust. Not passive waiting, but active alignment. Continue becoming the person who can sustain the love you desire. Continue healing. Continue building. Continue praying not out of desperation, but out of expectation. Your soulmate is not being dragged towards you. They are being guided willingly. There will come a moment when everything suddenly makes sense. The delays, the tears, the unanswered texts from the wrong people, the nights you thought you were alone. All of it will look different in hindsight. You will see how God was protecting your heart from settling. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because the truth is this, the movement is already closer than you think. The gap is narrowing. The preparation is nearly complete. Heaven does not rush sacred unions, but neither does it forget them. Right now, somewhere in this world, your soulmate is experiencing their own awakening. They may not know your name yet, but they feel the shift too. An inner nudge, a sense that something meaningful is approaching. God is aligning awareness on both sides. My beloved soul, breathe. The silence is not empty, it is holy. And in that holy quiet, God is doing what only He can do, moving two lives, two histories, two hearts steadily toward one ordained intersection. And when that ordained intersection happens, it will not feel rushed, forced, or fragile. It will feel like recognition layered with peace. Not the kind of excitement that creates anxiety, but the kind that creates grounding. Because what God is building is not a spark that burns out quickly. It is a steady flame designed to endure storms. My beloved soul, the reason heaven has moved in silence because some blessings lose strength when exposed too early. What is sacred must be protected until it is mature enough to stand in the open without fear. While you were questioning the timeline, God was refining the foundation. While you were asking when, He was answering when you are both ready to sustain what you are praying for. This readiness is not about perfection, it is about awareness. You are no longer the version of yourself that begged for crumbs. You are becoming the version that recognizes covenant, and somewhere, your soulmate is shedding illusions, releasing distractions, and being guided out of spaces that could not hold their future. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment. There is something happening beneath the surface of your life that you cannot measure with logic alone. You may have felt unusual detachment from past desires. People who once seemed irresistible now feel misaligned. Opportunities that once excited you now feel neutral. This is not boredom, it is elevation. When God prepares you for something higher, He gently reduces your appetite for what is lower. You are being emotionally recalibrated. The loneliness you occasionally feel is not emptiness, it is spaciousness. Space is necessary before something meaningful can enter. If every corner of your heart remained cluttered with old attachments, there would be no room for divine love to settle. And understand this deeply, divine love is not chaotic. It does not create confusion about your worth. It does not leave you guessing your value. The quiet movement happening right now is not about dramatic entrances. It is about stable arrival. You will not have to chase what God assigns to you. You will not have to convince what heaven has already confirmed. What is being aligned will recognize you without persuasion. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you. Because the shift you are sensing is not imagination. There are unseen rearrangements taking place. Habits are changing. Conversations are happening in their world. that are preparing them for depth. Old patterns are breaking. Just as you had to confront your own fears of abandonment, they are confronting their own fears of vulnerability. God does not unite two souls until both have faced themselves honestly. The reason past connections collapsed is because they were mirrors, not destinations. They showed you what still needed healing, and now healing has progressed further than you realize. You are more discerning, more patient, less reactive. That maturity is not accidental, it is preparation. Divine alignment requires emotional stability. Imagine meeting too early, before either of you understood communication, boundaries, or forgiveness. It would have felt intense, but unstable. God is not interested in temporary intensity. He is invested in lasting peace. And peace grows. My beloved soul, have you noticed how your prayers have changed? You are no longer praying from panic. You are praying from surrender. That shift alone signals spiritual growth. Surrender is not giving up. It is trusting God's architecture. It is saying, I trust you to build what I cannot force. When surrender becomes your posture, acceleration often follows quietly. You may not see fireworks, but you will notice flow. Doors will open without strain. Conversations will unfold naturally. Timing will feel synchronized instead of stressful. That is how you will know the movement is divine. There will be ease, not anxiety. There will be clarity, not confusion. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal. Because what is coming toward you is not just a person, it is a partnership aligned with your evolution. This soulmate will not complete you in a way that erases your individuality. They will complement the strength you have already built. God has been developing independence in you, so that when love arrives, it enhances your life rather than becoming your identity. You are not being prepared to lose yourself in someone. You are being prepared to walk beside someone as an equal. And equality requires growth on both sides. Somewhere right now, your soulmate is feeling dissatisfaction with shallow connections. They are realizing that temporary attraction cannot substitute for spiritual resonance. That realization is part of the quiet movement. God often awakens desire for depth before he introduces the person who embodies it. My beloved soul, remain attentive. Synchronicities may increase. Certain themes may repeat. You may feel guided to step into new environments. Follow those gentle nudges. Divine intersections rarely happen in stagnant spaces. They occur where obedience meets opportunity. If God places an idea in your heart to try something new, to visit somewhere different, to say yes instead of hiding, consider that it may be part of the alignment. Fear will attempt to keep you still, but faith invites you forward. And forward does not mean chasing, it means participating. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because the truth is this, the distance between you is shrinking in ways you cannot calculate, not just geographically, but emotionally and spiritually. Layers are being peeled back. Pride is softening. Timing is converging. The quiet season you are in is the final refinement before manifestation. Do not interpret calm as delay. Sometimes calm is confirmation that chaos has ended. The storm of confusion is passing. Clarity is approaching. And when clarity arrives, it will not announce itself with drama. It will feel like certainty settling into your bones. You will know without needing endless signs. You will feel peace without needing constant reassurance. That is how divine love feels, steady, anchored, intentional. My beloved soul, you have waited longer than you expected, but not longer than necessary. Every tear strengthened your empathy. Every disappointment sharpened your discernment. Every moment of solitude deepened your relationship with God. None of it was wasted. You were not being overlooked, you were being shaped. And shaping takes time because destiny is precise. What God is aligning is not random romance. It is covenant partnership, a connection that supports purpose, growth, and legacy. And covenant is never rushed. it is cultivated. So, breathe deeply. Release the urge to control timelines. Release the comparison with others who appear to have arrived sooner. Your path is tailored uniquely. The quiet movement happening now is proof that heaven has not forgotten you. It has simply been working beyond your visibility. And soon, very soon, what was prepared in silence will step into your reality with undeniable clarity. When that moment comes, you will understand why it had to be this way. You will see that the quiet was never absence, it was sacred preparation. And you will whisper gratitude for every unseen adjustment that brought your soulmate steadily, faithfully, closer to you. And when that clarity steps fully into your reality, it will feel less like a beginning and more like a continuation of something your spirit has always known. There is a difference between meeting someone new and recognizing someone destined. One feels like discovery, the other feels like remembrance. My beloved soul, the quiet work God has been doing is not only external arrangement, but internal awakening. He has been restoring your capacity to trust again without losing discernment. He has been teaching you how to love without abandoning yourself. That balance is rare and it is sacred. The reason the movement has been subtle is because transformation that lasts does not need an audience. It needs sincerity. You are becoming sincere about what you want. No more vague prayers. No more anyone will do. You have grown specific in spirit, even if you have not spoken the details aloud. Heaven responds to specificity born from maturity, and somewhere, your soulmate has reached a similar point of clarity. They are no longer entertained by temporary attention. They are no longer satisfied with surface-level affection. A hunger for something deeper has awakened in them, and that hunger is guiding them closer to you. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment. What feels like ordinary days right now are actually transitional days. Transitional seasons rarely look dramatic. They feel almost uneventful. But beneath that calm, direction is shifting. Patterns are breaking. Old cycles are quietly ending. You may notice certain people drifting away from your life without conflict. Conversations that once flowed now feel complete. That is not loss, that is clearing. God removes emotional noise before introducing divine harmony. Harmony cannot coexist with constant discord. You are being led into a frequency of peace, and peace is the language your soulmate will recognize immediately. When two people meet in peace, there is no rush to impress. There is no anxiety about being enough. There is presence. There is listening. There is mutual respect. God is preparing you for that kind of encounter. Not adrenaline, but assurance. Not fantasy, but foundation. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you. Because what is unfolding is larger than romantic fulfillment. This union is connected to purpose. There are assignments attached to your togetherness that require both of you to be stable individually. That is why God allowed you to stand alone for longer than you preferred. Independence built your strength. Solitude refined your vision. You learned how to soothe yourself instead of demanding others to do it. You learned how to confront your own shadows. These lessons are not random. They are qualifications. Divine partnerships require two whole individuals choosing each other, not two broken individuals clinging to each other. And now wholeness is emerging. You may still have moments of doubt, but doubt no longer controls you. Fear may whisper, but it no longer dictates your decisions. That shift is evidence of growth. Somewhere, your soulmate is experiencing similar revelations. They are recognizing patterns they no longer want to repeat. They are closing doors that once distracted them. They may not fully understand why they feel compelled to change, but heaven understands. Guidance does not always arrive with explanation. Sometimes it arrives as inner conviction. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal. The quiet movement also involves timing intersections you cannot predict. A delayed plan may suddenly align perfectly. A spontaneous decision may place you in the right environment. An introduction may seem casual, but carry eternal significance. Do not underestimate simple moments. God often hides miracles inside ordinary circumstances, so that faith, not spectacle, receives the glory. Remain open, remain attentive, but do not become anxious in your attentiveness. There is a difference between expectancy and obsession. Expectancy is peaceful, obsession is restless. Choose peaceful expectancy. Trust that what is meant for you cannot bypass you. Trust that divine alignment does not require manipulation. You will not have to strategize your worth. You will not have to prove your value. Recognition will be mutual. Respect will be natural. Communication will be intentional. These are not unrealistic standards. They are divine standards. And if you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because the final word is this: the quiet season is almost complete, not because you forced it, but because you have matured through it. Heaven does not extend preparation beyond necessity. Once readiness meets timing, manifestation follows, and manifestation will not feel chaotic. It will feel earned through growth. You will look back and realize that every delay protected you from misalignment. Every unanswered prayer redirected you toward precision. Every lonely night strengthened your reliance on God, rather than desperation for validation. My beloved soul, imagine meeting them at a moment when you are no longer trying to impress anyone, when you are comfortable in your skin, when you speak your truth calmly. That version of you is magnetic in a way that requires no performance. God has been shaping that authenticity within you. Authentic love cannot connect to a mask. It connects to honesty, and honesty requires courage. You have developed that courage quietly, and so have they. There will be a sacred symmetry when you finally stand face to face. Not perfection, but compatibility of growth. Not identical stories, but complementary lessons. You will both understand pain, which means you will both value peace. You will both understand loss, which means you will both cherish loyalty. These shared understandings will create depth beyond attraction, and depth sustains love when excitement fluctuates. Remember this: what God joins is supported by grace. Grace to forgive, grace to communicate, grace to evolve together. This is why preparation matters so deeply. You are not being given a fairy tale detached from reality. You are being positioned for a partnership rooted in spiritual awareness. That awareness is your greatest asset. Continue nurturing it. Continue choosing integrity when no one is watching. Continue refining your character. Every private victory contributes to future stability. My beloved soul, remain steady. The silence was never rejection. It was rehearsal. The distance was never abandonment. It was alignment. And alignment is precise beyond human calculation. You may not know the date or the method, but you can trust the direction. The direction is forward. The direction is closer. The direction is intentional. Soon, what has been prepared in hidden places will emerge into visible reality. And when it does, it will not shock your spirit. It will settle into it like something always meant to be there. That is how you will know. Not by chaos, not by confusion, but by calm certainty. God has quietly been moving your soulmate closer, step by unseen step, decision by guided decision, healing by necessary healing. And now the distance that once felt overwhelming is narrowing into divine proximity. Hold your faith gently but firmly. Continue walking your path with dignity, because what is approaching you is not temporary affection. It is ordained companionship. And ordained companionship does not arrive by accident. It arrives by design. And as this design reaches its appointed hour, you will realize that nothing about your journey was random. The waiting sculpted your patience. The silence strengthened your intuition. The disappointments purified your expectations. God was not simply bringing a person into your life. He was constructing a sacred meeting point where two transformed souls could recognize each other without fear. My beloved soul, you are closer than you think. Not because you calculated it correctly, but because heaven calibrated it perfectly. The unseen hands of grace have been guiding conversations you have not heard, redirecting steps you have not traced, and softening hearts you have not touched. The divine does not rush what carries eternal consequence. It refines it, and refinement always happens quietly. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment. Let this truth settle deeply within you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are positioned. Positioned at the exact spiritual altitude required for the love you have prayed for. The version of you standing today is stronger, wiser, calmer. You no longer beg for attention. You attract alignment. You no longer fear being alone. You honor your own presence. That internal shift is magnetic in the spiritual realm. It signals readiness, and readiness activates movement. Somewhere, perhaps at this very hour, your soulmate feels an unexplainable stirring, a readiness to choose depth over distraction, a readiness to pursue authenticity over illusion. That stirring is not coincidence, it is synchronization. Two awakenings moving toward one intersection. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because the powerful truth is this: when God moves quietly, he moves completely. There will be no unfinished conversations lingering in the background when this union emerges. There will be closure where closure was needed. There will be clarity where confusion once lived. The quiet season has been tying loose ends on both sides. Emotional debts are being cleared. Lessons have been learned. Patterns have been broken. So, when you finally meet in full awareness, it will not feel like chaos colliding. It will feel like completion aligning. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal. The final revelation is not about a dramatic entrance or cinematic moment. It is about recognition infused with peace. You will recognize each other not only through attraction, but through resonance. Their presence will not agitate your spirit. It will settle it. Conversations will not feel forced. They will feel natural. Silence will not feel awkward. It will feel safe. That safety is the signature of divine orchestration. And when you experience it, you will understand why God refused to let you settle before. You will understand why certain doors slammed shut, even when you pleaded for them to stay open. Protection often feels painful, until purpose becomes visible. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. And here it is: trust the quiet. Trust the invisible rearrangements. Trust the sacred delay. Because what God has been moving toward you has also been moving you toward it. This was never one-sided preparation. It was mutual transformation. And now, as the distance narrows to divine proximity, hold your faith with steady confidence. Continue walking in integrity. Continue nurturing your spirit. The meeting will happen at the intersection of readiness and timing, not desperation and impulse. My beloved soul, the story does not end in longing. It ends in alignment. It ends in peace. It ends in the undeniable realization that God was working all along, even in silence. And when your eyes finally meet theirs with recognition and calm certainty, you will whisper a quiet thank you to every unseen movement that brought your soulmate gently, faithfully, and perfectly closer to you. Type Amen.